Pyrrho was an ancient skeptic. His work was conveyed to us mostly by Sextus Empiricus, a scholar who wrote a couple hundred years after the appearance of Christ, and who was also a Pyrrhonist. But he's also one of the sources we have for the Stoics and the Epicureans, which is important because as a Pyrrhonist, he was able to convey those philosophies in a way that was amenable to the people that held those philosophies. In other words, it was like if I disagreed with a conservative and I was able to listen to his argument and then express his argument in a way to a third party that he would agree to and say, yep, that's pretty much right, that's how I believe. They were good at that because they were good at taking out their own bias. Because they believed in an epistemology that is, what a coincidence, exactly the epistemology of modern science. All knowledge was theory, but you could assent to what appeared to be the case. In other words, you had permission to come up with theories. So all knowledge was theories. There was no knowledge absolute. And the dogmatist said, well, hey, there's no knowledge, we're screwed. And the skeptic says, no, there's knowledge, but knowledge is just theory. In other words, knowledge is not absolutely correct. In my philosophy education, they're still trying to prove that knowledge was correct and corresponded to reality. And the skeptic said, you'll never make that bridge. You will never build a bridge to the confirmed reality. But so what? That's just the goal that the dogmatist told us. Our goal doesn't have to be that. Our goal is just to learn more and more, as you said. Inquiry itself becomes the goal. This is why I'm a progressive. Now, it happens to be liberal in politics at the moment. But in reality, no, it's progressive. It's progressive. I believe in progress. I don't believe in we have an absolute knowledge. I don't believe in holding some canonical truth and that's how we enjoy our knowledge. I believe in improving our truth. When we create mathematical systems and tautological tool sets, which we do because when you add in the real world in there, it chops up the real world, and you know that the tautological system, like the mathematics, is not introducing, but just rearranging. And when your output comes, it's not perfect truth. It's only as good as the input, but it's been rearranged in a way that you know has not introduced new concepts on the output. Of course, you only know that depending on how good your logic is and other limitations. But anyway, I digress. The point is that all we need is appearances, but it's not true that there's nothing beyond appearances. And it's, for example, in relativity, people think that relativity means that anything can be true. It all depends on your point of view, so nothing... Yeah, it does depend on your point of view, but within your point of view, there's still facts. You don't get to choose what you acknowledge or anything akin to that. You have to look for the facts. You know, you have to use a kind of a scientific method. You can't lie to yourself. You can't use logical fallacies. You have to figure out ways to build measuring sticks so that you can measure things and report consistently on experiments, which are experiences that you set up to happen so that you can have the appearance repeatedly. Because this is what we start to say, well, if it's all appearances, then we're going to work on the repeatability of the appearance. If you close your eyes and open it and the ghost is gone, it was a ghost. You know, if you open your eyes again and it's still there, then it's a solid thing. And it's scary when that doesn't work, that heuristic. But we use heuristics like that to tell the difference between our appearances, because we do have appearances that are dreams and shadows and misunderstandings, as well as appearances that are from our senses. And this is important. Where are the appearances coming from? So we want our appearances to be coming from the senses. And to make sure they're coming from the senses, we exploit a factor that we've noticed in the senses, which is that they're consistent. When the senses see something, I have a globe over here hanging from the ceiling, and if I look away, I don't see the globe. I'm very sure it's going to be there when I turn around, and sure enough it is, because the senses are like that. And a dream reality isn't like that. If you're in a dim environment and there's a shadow over there and you can't tell if it's a person or a tree stump, to look back a bunch of times will help to reveal whether it's real or not. You know, you look once and you see it as a person, you look again and it looks tree stump, and you know, you keep looking until you start to develop a consistent pattern, because this is what we know about the senses. So it doesn't matter about the real world. What is that? Define real. What we've been talking about is the sensible world. The sensible world. All right. I love that you're giving me an opportunity to go ahead and opine on my take on some of these issues.